Jaw-dropping backyard paradise online at AtlantisBC.com. And he's joining us on the Comcast Business Hotline. Every day in business is a big day. Let Comcast Business get you ready for what's next. From ESPN, you know him, you love him, Adam Schefter. Shefty, good morning.
Good morning, gentlemen. What's going on?
Hello there, Adam.
We're doing well. We're getting closer and closer to kickoff, which we're excited for. But we got the confusing out-of-nowhere trade over the weekend that you reported when the Eagles acquired John Mechie from the Houston Texans. Is there any more to the trade, or was this just a, hey, let's bring a guy in and see if the upside's still there?
I think that's exactly what it was. You got a team in the Eagles that has 13 draft picks. I think it's 13 in 2026. So they've got more picks than they actually need. They're loaded up to bear. And we know that they're always looking. And here's a player that I think had some value to some teams around the league that they felt could help improve their roster. And they decided, you know what, let's roll the dice. We're not even going to wind up getting a pick. And, that they made that trade. Again, I think they'll look to make more trades this weekend. I'm not saying they will, but they're definitely going to be looking to make more trades this weekend.
Ooh, I like that.
They have all these picks. And again, now I don't want you to get your hopes up. It's not like they're trading for Micah Parsons or Trey Hendrickson.
Right.
I don't expect that to happen. But they're going to be looking. I mean, but by the way, every team's looking. It's not unique to them, but they just have a way of getting these things done and finding a way to make it happen. So we'll see if they can make another trade or two this week, and it wouldn't surprise me. Just because that's their history. They have the picks. They're always looking. And basically that's the situation.
Do you believe this has been, or am I just a sort of being captured, prisoner of the moment? It seems like there's a lot of turmoil right now around teams in the NFL, around players, around stuff. And we're getting to 2 weeks to the kickoff of the season tomorrow. It just seems like there's a lot of storylines. And I don't know, maybe it's the flexibility of the cap now, things like that. Or am I maybe just overreacting and forgetting how things used to be?
I think, first of all, it's a great question. And if you're asking me, and basically I live my life around this stuff, I would say, number one, it goes on every year. It might be more so this year, but I also would say there's more attention paid to these things than ever before. So it goes on every year. There's more attention to these things. The issues with teams get more attention and more coverage because we live in an NFL-dominated society. So you're going to hear more about Micah Parsons and Trey Hendrickson and Terry McLaurin. I mean, if we go back to last year, there was CeeDee Lamb and Dak Prescott and Jamar Chase. Is that any different? If we go back the year before, it was Nick Bosa, and it was, I believe it was Joe Burrow, and there were others. So every year, there are those types of situations. You're saying it feels like more now. I don't know that that's true, John. I just think that you're being a prisoner of the moment, which I understand why. It's every year. It's the league that we pay attention to. It's the issues that people care about. It's the way that I say it is, and people have talked to me about my job, and it really just turns into a whole philosophical discussion. I'm just telling you, it's always been busy. I feel like with this league, there's something every single day. And I could go through and just, go through my Instagram feed or my Twitter timeline and just look at every day the things that happen. It's unbelievable. And I don't know, was it always like that? Every year I go through the summer, I feel like I'm able to catch my breath. I just feel like every day is like this now. I don't know why.
It's the league that never sleeps, Shefty. It's the league that never sleeps. If you don't have any information on this right now and we have to wait till next week, that's fine. But I'm curious, have you heard anything on the hamstring with A.J. Brown, who's barely practiced this training camp?
Yeah, I don't think it's an issue. In fact, I saw John's comment on Sunday after the trade, and I asked around to a few different people, like, oh, could this trade be related to A.J. Brown's hamstring? And I was assured it had nothing to do with that. So, but good theory, John.
I'm glad to see breaking news that the big NFL insiders are checking out my work, which is good because I like it verified. Because it just is. It seemed strange because he seems like the player that Jahan Dotson already is on the roster, and there doesn't seem to be enough balls to be able to get Jahan Dotson any looks. So it just seemed a little strange to me.
Well, yeah, but again, you got a receiver that at one point when he was coming out was a second-round draft pick in an Alabama offense that knows Devonta Freeman
Sure.
and Jalen Hurts. It just makes sense. Like, okay. By the way, you're trading a tight end that might not have made the roster. You're flopping picks, like whatever.
Right.
Like it's a free square.
A free square, I like that.
Hey, Schefter, how much longer do we have to see Micah Parsons in the NFC East?
Well,
are we going to see him in 2 weeks too?
That's another good question.
Are we going to see him in 2 weeks?
I'm just telling you. I think that one's just way up in the air. Like, I don't know how that's going to go. I know this, and this is what I said yesterday, and it seemed to have gotten a little bit of traction and people debating. Like, I'm just telling you, I don't know whether it's after this season, whether the Cowboys would do something this season. I don't think so, but you never know. But it certainly doesn't feel like those two sides are interested in getting a long-term deal done. And it seems like they're, at some point in time, I don't know when, but it seems like at some point in time, they're headed for a divorce. It's what it feels like to me.
Would there be a drop-dead date, you believe, of Parsons where they have to get something done for him to be ready for opening night, since we are 15 days away?
Well, again, they haven't talked about contract in 3-4 months.
That's incredible.
So I know people say, okay, that's what I'm saying. It feels different than Dak and CD last year. It just does. Okay? Now, again, I understand I could be surprised this weekend, and all of a sudden Jerry Jones could call the agent for Micah Parsons, and they could sit down and they could hammer out a deal that makes him the highest paid non-quarterback in NFL history. Could that happen? Absolutely. I'm just telling you there's no evidence that will happen. Okay? None right now.
Schefter,
Could it happen? Yeah. We're
Sure.
headed into that time of the year where things do happen, where we really are on the clock. And so assuming that they don't get a deal, well, I can tell you what we're going to be talking about on this show next week and the week after. Your season opens 2 weeks from tomorrow night. The Dallas Cowboys are coming to Philadelphia. Jerry Jones himself, when he last talked about it, said he didn't know if Micah Parsons would be traded, would be playing in that game. He hasn't practiced at all. Where's it going? It's going to be one of the stories of the season. Another one of those stories.
So, Schefter, we know that players talk, right? Is this a situation where Dallas is becoming a destination where players may not want to go? I know that money talks, and if you get offered a big contract, you're going to go. But if you're trying to, take a serious approach to trying to win, is Dallas one of those teams where people will kind of steer away from now, free agents?
I don't believe that. I mean, it's still the Dallas Cowboys. It's still a no-tax state, Texas.
Oh, okay.
I mean, it's no, I don't think that. But there are certain people, that aren't happy there right now, like Micah.
I love hearing this. I love hearing the turmoil. By the way, I remember I warned you about the Commanders. I'm telling you, the end of the season games with the Commanders are going to be good for the Birds. That the Commanders games aren't going to mean as much. I'm not buying into them. We're seeing people talk about the Commanders and their age and things like that. Are there any other teams that maybe you have in the back of your mind that you're thinking, I'm hearing good things about them all summer long, but I got a nagging thought they may not be as good as we think?
I think, look, last year you couldn't have been any more bullish on Washington than I was, correct?
Yes,
Going into the year.
absolutely.
Going into the year.
Sure.
I think I was one of the rare people who said that they're going to.
You were all over it. You were all over it. And I was so worried about Jaden Daniels being a Commander. I didn't like it at all because I think he's great.
I don't feel the same way about them this year. Like, I'm not telling you they're, how do I say this the right way so it doesn't get taken out of context? I don't have the same great vibes about them that I did last year. I still think they'll be a good team. I still think they'll be a tough team. But last year, I think they had so many elements going in their direction. This year, just that Terry thing, I think that hangs over them. They're not going to surprise anybody. The schedule's tougher. I just think it's a bigger challenge for them. And
they're not going to have as many scratch-off lottery ticket wins that they had last year, too.
Yeah.
Like against the Bears, like against the Cowboys, where they had those amazing last-second wins either. Those things don't happen.
Last year, they exceeded expectations, and I'm not telling you they can't do that again this year. They certainly could because Jaden Daniels is that good. But I just don't feel that way going into this year about them.
All right. Last thing for you, Schefty. I want you to give your opinion on it, but I also want you to tell me what teams in the league think about it. Joe Flacco named the starting quarterback of the Cleveland Browns. My question for you, and eventually Russell Wilson for the New York Giants, your opinion on playing a veteran over a young quarterback when you know that veteran's not going to win you anything and has nothing to do with your future, versus what you think teams believe is the right answer, because clearly they seem to always go with the vet before the young guy. Why is that?
That's how you're viewing it here, Anthony. And I would say that I don't think that's how the Browns are viewing it. You know, the Browns are viewing it that 2 years ago, Joe Flacco got them to the playoffs, and Joe Flacco could get them to the playoffs again. Joe Flacco's won a Super Bowl. I think he was a Super Bowl MVP. The Browns are viewing it as he's a quarterback who can help them have their best season while they see what they have in these two young quarterbacks and get ready for a draft in 26 in which they have 2 first-round draft picks. So fans and radio hosts think differently than the people in the organizations themselves. And by the way, that's not always a great thing in either case, vice versa.
Sure.
Sometimes the teams are blinded and they don't say it. Like,
Yeah.
I'm just telling you, like, the people in New Orleans are convinced they're going to have a great season. I don't see it.
No.
You don't see it, right?
Right.
They think they all think they're going to be better than expected. And you know what? Maybe they're right and we're wrong. But the Browns don't think like you think here. Okay? And I tend to agree with them that Joe Flacco is a competent, solid NFL quarterback and has been for a while. And he might be able to help them win some games. That's how they're thinking.
The over-under on ESPN bet 3.5. So maybe they'll hit their over with like 4 or 5 this year, Schefty.
Wait, the Browns over-under
3.5.
Yes.
Wins?
Yeah, 3.5.
Yeah.
I'd bet that in a second.
For the season?
Yes.
Yeah, that's what I saw last week.
I'd bet it in a second.
Are you...
That's what I saw last week.
Now, what is it now?
Oh, hold on. Let me
see.
see.
I don't even look at that. I can't even believe you're telling me that.
Yeah, I don't want you on any betting apps.
Let's see.
Let's not have that.
Let me go to the latest number.
What is it now?
4.5 now.
4.5.
It's climbed up to 4.5, ladies and gentlemen.
I think I'm betting the over. I'm betting the over on that one too.
Oh my God, yeah. Like if you had asked me before I even heard any of those numbers, I would say the Cleveland Browns this year, to me, they're a 7-8 win team. That's what I would have thought, honestly.
Wow.
All right.
There you go.
Schefty, we
Thanks,
appreciate
Adam.
the time as always, man. We'll talk to you again next